The Starks are here. Who's gonna sit on that big chair? You're listening to Diminishing Returns, the podcast about sequels, prequels, spin-offs, and reboots. I'm Chris Scott, and across from me, like English Premiership players, he's used to no audience, and is probably some sort of rich sex pest. It's Mr. Alan Johnson.
How do pod people?
We are back with one of our non-franchise episodes. So instead of talking about a particular film or series of films, we're just going to talk about, like, whatever the fuck we want, really. So, in our non-franchise episodes, we traditionally start with the news. Alan, are we men of tradition?
We are traditionally men, yes.
Are we traditionally Devo? Are we not men? So, film news. Lots of film news, is there, Alan?
There's only one thing that we need to talk about, Chris.
Right, okay.
The internet cult have succeeded, and HBO will soon release the Snyder Cup.
Oh, yeah. Okay, cool. HBO Max is going to release the Snyder Cut. Usually I don't read about this film news stuff, but for some reason this is, went through to my brain. So I was reading about this, because obviously the Snyder Cut was an unfinished cut. It wasn't the film wasn't finished.
No.
So from what I understand of the Snyder Cut, is that HBO are actually throwing some money at this and they're going to redo the effects and maybe even have people in for reshoots.
I believe so, yeah.
That's a weirdly expensive thing to do for a film that was alright. And by the way, I'm probably being generous with alright.
I mean, HBO obviously feel that there's such a fervour behind this mystical Snyder Cut that the number of people who are going to subscribe to that service just to see this movie will more than justify their production costs.
However, I'll tell you one thing. I think it's nice that he gets to do that. Because the story is, for people that don't know, is that Zack Snyder... sadly his daughter died while they were making Justice League, or just before.
Yeah, he suffered a shocking family bereavement during the production.
Understandably, he couldn't finish his film. So it's quite nice that he gets to finish his film. I probably don't have that much of an interest in seeing it, other than the fact that it will be interesting to see, if they do reshoot things, like how that gets matched up. Because let's be honest, the effects team in that film did such a great job with Superman's mustache. When they digitally removed his mustache, I'm sure matching up footage from fucking 4 years later will be an absolute cinch for them. So this could be some Ed Wood style stuff, like a high budget Ed Wood or a Garth Marenghi's Dark Place or something, And from what I hear, it'll be nice for Cyborg, because the guy that played Cyborg... now, for those of you who don't know, Cyborg is the part robot, part man character. Because when they made comic books back in the day, evidently it was really easy to name people. God, we've got this guy he's like a cyborg. What will they call him? Cyborg? Yeah, that'll do. We've got a guy who's like a man, but he's super. What are we going to call him? Superman? We're jamming, right? Easy peasy. But the guy that played Cyborg, Ray Fisher, basically tweeted that Joss Whedon is a piece of shit.
Yeah.
Like, not his exact words, but, he acted poorly on set and the producers let him. That's what he said. Now, this guy that plays Cyborg is not a huge name. He works in Hollywood, which is known to not be forgiving to people. It must be bad if he's like, fuck this noise, I'm going to publicly call him out. Now, interestingly, he's not actually said what he's done.
Yeah.
So I want to release the Snyder cut of that tweet where he tells us in detail why Joss Whedon's a prick. I can totally believe Joss Whedon's a prick because Joss Whedon, the guy who took over Justice League after Zack Snyder had to leave the project, it's come out that he's kind of been a prick to people before.
Including his wife.
Right. Relationships are hard, Alan, I mean, you're a prick to me all the time. So, and I've done nothing but be kind. I mean, you didn't even mention my new hair today. That's how bad it is. So, yeah, nice for Zack Snyder. I feel quite glad he gets to finish his thing, because the whole DC universe, as much as we don't like it, was his baby.
Yeah.
And that was the culmination. He had to leave for reasons out with his control, and an absolute shame for the guy. So, although we give him some amount of stick on this show, weirdly, it's quite a good news thing.
Yeah.
Because unlike you monsters in film Twitter, I am aware that there's more to life than films, you fucking losers. That's news in inverted commas because the whole world's fucked.
Yeah.
Alright, what are we going to talk about next?
Let's just talk trailers, Chris.
Excellent. We are back with our favourite segment, the segment above all segments, the holiest of holies, the capo de capi. It is, of course, Trailer Talk.
Bum, bum, bum. Well, let's segue beautifully from the Snyder Cut to Wonder Woman 1984, or WW84, as I've seen it named. Yeah, Wonder Woman 2.
Nice. Okay, Wonder Woman, the first one, which I guess we're calling Wonder Woman 1939 or whatever. Is it now?
1917.
Is that? Oh yeah, it was first one. Yeah. I enjoyed Wonder Woman. I thought it was a good film.
Yes.
One of the best. It's probably my second favourite of the DC films.
Okay.
After Shazam.
Oh.
Which I really enjoyed the first time I watched it. And the second time I watched it, I went, of this modern DC extended universe, this is my favourite. But after that, probably Wonder Woman. The ending was a wee bit shit.
Yeah, this bad guy reveal and it became special effects mess battle, which wasn't brilliant.
Yeah, just another DC grim, badly designed computer game cutscene. But up until that point, it was really enjoyable, right?
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, cool. I would like to see more of this. And they've done it where not only do I get to see more of this character, they've done it in the 80s with a New Order soundtrack. Well done everyone. You have appealed to me. It may surprise you if you know me that I am just about old enough to remember the 80s. Just. And I enjoy the music in New Order, and I enjoy Wonder Woman running about kicking people in the face.
Yeah.
This trailer was, despite not really saying anything, which is again good. I don't want things spoiled. It was great. It looked like a lot of fun. I'm in. What about you, Al?
It's funny, they were sort of like setting up to amp the sort of Cold War aspect of it, but from the trailer it's very much leaning more on the sort of neon and spandex aspect of the 1980s than the perestroika.
Yeah, that's not going to be fun. It would be good if it was a superhero remake of Tinker Tailor Soldier Spy with Gal Gadot as the smiley figure, retired secret agent spy. That would be interesting. My big criticism is that at no point did she sing Imagine. It really made...
It's been the best thing to come out of lockdown.
When I was burying my brother and I couldn't hug my family, as he was lowered into the ground, a part of me just went, at least we got that Gal Gadot video. At least we got her singing Imagine. This makes it all worthwhile. I'm sorry, Jimmy. I'm sorry I never told you I loved you, Jim. We're Western Scotland men. We don't know about our feelings, but I'm glad your final moments I played you that Imagine video. He'd seen what humanity could be, as me and my socially distanced family couldn't even hug each other. But my mum did go, have you seen that Gal Gadot video? Beautiful.
I mean, at times like this, it just really makes you think rich people should just shut the fuck up.
There's only one way for us to find out, and that is for me to become rich and see if I suddenly think things like that are a good idea. As a control group, right?
Okay.
So it's like scientific testing. You stay not rich,
yep.
Right? Just purely for scientific reasons.
I love the scientific method. That's when you pull out early, isn't it?
That's it, yep. That's definitely it. When you're wearing a lab coat. And people can donate money to the show and I'll take that money and I'll be rich. And we'll see if I do it. I'd like to point this out, by the way, for the listener. Alan is the most middle-class person I've ever met. He maybe didn't start out that way, right? But Christ, he's talking about rich people. Literally, before the show started, I couldn't get away for our annual holiday to France this year, so we're just going to have to go a little hideaway up north somewhere, because, can't stay in the house all day. Fucking first world problems for this prick. He's fucking... The only difference is that he wouldn't be singing, like, Imagine. He'd be singing some, like, Wire B-side, some post-punk thing that,
Dot dash.
You'd see the soft celebrity version of fucking Dot Dash. Brilliant. But yeah, however, I'm a hardcore motherfucker from the streets. And that's why I deserve your money. Please donate wherever you can. None of it will go to Alan and his quinoa munching family. So so we're both in for Wonder Woman.
Both in for Wonder Woman.
It sounds creepy when two middle-aged men say that, but we are creepy, so it's just how it's going to come out. What else do you want to talk about?
I guess Wonder Woman 1984, it's only logical we go to Ghostbusters Afterlife.
Finally, we get a reboot where it's not full of chicks. Am I right, lads? Fucking, maybe we can get some Ghostbusters with like play football and read The Sun. Be fucking brilliant. Yeah, so basically, see if it wasn't for everyone being so annoyed at the last Ghostbusters, because it had the temerity to put birds on film.
Can you imagine?
Wild. You know, I would be really quite up for this. Because I think, again, there's a nice thing that obviously Ivan Reitman was the original director of Ghostbusters, and his son is the director of the new one.
Yeah.
And that's quite a nice thing, and it definitely seems to be tipping a big hat to Harold Ramis, who played Egon, who's passed away a few years ago. But it just seems to annoy me that effectively Hollywood went, right, we're giving you gals one shot at this. And if you little ladies fuck this up, you're done. And it's back to the real Ghostbusters, not the real Ghostbusters, obviously.
But the
cartoon. That lady Ghostbusters, the cast were all really good. And so I would have liked to have seen them get a movie then doing Ghostbusters without, you know, the kind of whole having to reset it all up.
Yeah.
You could just go, we've got these fucking funny new Ghostbusters, now just, you know, a new film, new plot, and just let them have at it. They're really good together. That's one of these things where you think, you know, maybe a sequel would have worked because it wouldn't have to deal with all this other shit.
And if people had gotten on board with it, wouldn't necessarily have the same baggage that it came with. It wouldn't have that baggage of, oh, Lady Ghostbusters. I would be much more on board with this Ghostbusters Afterlife if I didn't have that like bitter taste in my mouth about the shitty treatment of the last Ghostbusters film. Yeah,
the criticism that it got from some people was like immediate without having seen the film, which is nonsense. I mean, I know we're effectively doing that here, but we're doing it for humor. And then obviously there was some quite personal stuff directed to some of the cast members and things like that, you know, which is just, sometimes I think men can't have nice things.
They shouldn't have nice things.
We should. See, we should have nice things. I want nice things, which is why you should donate to our show. I will become rich, and we'll see how it goes. But let's talk about the trailer for the film that's actually coming out. Yep. It looks like it could be quite fun. It's kids kind of discovering old Grandpa Egon Spengler's squirreled away all his Ghostbuster stuff at his farmhouse or whatever he lives in. It looks like it could be quite fun. I like Ghostbusters. I like proton packs. I like Slimer. It's got all that in it. It could be quite good. You know, it's got Paul Rudd in it. One of the kids from Stranger Things.
Finn Wolfhard.
How can I never remember that name when it's the greatest name of all time? Alan, it's the coolest fucking name of all time, and I can't remember it.
Maybe it's just so potent.
My brain can't handle it.
Yeah, it just blows it out of your mind every time.
That makes sense. That's probably it. It's definitely not that I'm an old man. I can't remember things.
Yeah, I quite like that it's in Ghostbusters timeline. They refer to the original Ghostbusters as the Manhattan Cross Rip of 1984. So it's like, you know, the Tunguska Blast or whatever.
All of these also great nicknames for farts.
And I really appreciate what they've done to try and, you know, make up for Egon, Harold Ramis not being there. But there's no way that Harold Ramis's New York City scientist would have like an Arkansas dilapidated farmhouse. Like, Ramis is very much a city guy.
Aye, definitely. His character was never going to be like out chopping wood.
No, and so the sort of hook they've hung this on is a little bit, I mean, obviously maybe within the film it's an ancestral pile and I'll be like, oh yeah, right, great.
Or he's been chased out of New York.
Yeah, hounded out for his wacky views.
Yeah, entirely possible.
But what I wanted to ask about is obviously like this is harking back to 1984 and it's obviously like, I mean, it definitely the way it's set up, it's all very much trying to evoke the original Ghostbusters. We just talked about Wonder Woman 1984, we've talked about Finn Wolfhard and briefly mentioned Stranger Things. How do you feel about this like 80s nostalgia? Where are you in that cycle?
It's like anything supposed to be done. I tell you what, as somebody, you'll know this yourself, right? And it's something that I did not enjoy at the time and would hate to see come come back. Like, the 80s, to me, is everyone smokes. Right? Like, if Wonder Woman 84 was really being a bit more 80s, like, everyone would be smoking and their skin would not be as nice. Their hair wouldn't be as well done as it is now. And just everyone looked a bit shittier, and everybody at every point in it is smoking. And I'm like, yeah, that's kind of what I remember as a child. Everyone was smoking.
Yeah.
I think we mentioned it when we talked about the original Ghostbusters. That was the thing that freaked me out when I was watching it for the first time in 10 years. Is that throughout all of it, all the Ghostbusters are smoking 20 benches and hedges. You know what I mean?
Just era appropriate.
Yeah. I'm not a big fan of nostalgia in general. I find it weak.
Mm-hmm.
I think people that like nostalgia are weak. But when it's done well in a kind of, as long as it's not just, hey, remember when you were young? Remember when you had dreams? And that's all they do with it. That annoys me. But if it's like, wouldn't it be cool to have Wonder Woman and a World War I fighter pilot in the fucking 80s? You'd be like, yeah, that's a great idea. Because then you have all the fun nostalgia stuff, but also fish out war stuff. Yeah, that's all fine. But I find nostalgia as a concept. There's an episode of Tony Soprano gets really fucked off with one of his pals for talking about the old days. And I always remember going, yeah, I'm with you on that one, Tony.
Yeah, John Hodgman says that nostalgia is relying on two things, that you're trying to recapture something that you never can have back, and things in the olden days were better, and so therefore nostalgia shouldn't be fetishized.
The past is a different country, and you can never go back, because like all countries now,
they're not for old men.
That's it, not for old men. And we have restrictions now, and that's it. You're not allowed in. It's interesting because I'm of the age now where I see my friends or acquaintances become very nostalgic about things. And don't get me wrong, like there's Pulp from fucking Glastonbury. That was great. I'll watch that again. I'm not against enjoying things that I enjoyed in the past, but I am now of the age where friends start to only ever talk about things that happened back 20 years ago. And everything's rubbish now. It just so happened to be good at the time when you were like 20 years old and had your whole life in front of you, instead of like you've come over from France and married some fucking ex-roadie guy who now does a podcast about films. Like, I'm just spitballing here. But when people have ruined their lives,
what the French call salad days, you're saying?
But we all know that your wife's made a terrible mistake marrying you. I see that. It's like, oh, look at you enjoying a time that you enjoyed in the past. Why don't you fuck off? And so that's my big worry about these sort of films, is like, I want to see new cool shit. Yeah. I remember how I felt when I saw Ghostbusters. It was possibly the first film I saw at the cinema. I love Ghostbusters. It's fucking great. I don't need to be reminded of Ghostbusters because I have Ghostbusters. Yeah. Show me something new and cool. I want The Last Jedi. I don't want the fucking Return of Skywalker. Yeah. It's called Rise of Skywalker. I can't remember what it's called now.
Rise of Skywalker. Yeah. Perfect example. I want Brave New Worlds.
This is stuff I used to love, and now somebody's doing something new and cool with it. Or mollycoddling, you fucking sad fucks who can't handle anything new because you've grown weak and fat and bald and useless. I was always fat and balding, so I don't need to fucking worry about that. On its own merits I'm in, but I have, like Wilco, I've got reservations. Yeah. So that's cool. So we're both in. That's 2 for 2. What else we got?
Bill and Ted and Face the Music.
I'm very much up for this.
Yeah.
2 very good films. I think the first 2 are just cracking. And it's one of these things where the scriptwriters of the third one have very much been like, we've got an idea for this. We know what we're doing here. Mm-hmm. Don't worry about it.
We know where we want to take it, yeah.
Like, it feels like they've really thought about it for years. And the very small clips looked like fun, looked funny, and again, it doesn't look like just a retread, because the second Bill and Ted wasn't just a retread of the first one.
Yeah, that was for my son's birthday. My brother got him a Bill and Ted t-shirt, and Elliot was kind of like, I don't know what this is. And so we watched Bill and Ted just so he understood the sort of cultural reference of his t-shirt, and he quite liked the first one. Liked it enough that he was intrigued to know what happened in the second one. And we watched the second one, which he like just lapped up.
Yeah, second one's great, man.
The second one is great because it really like opens out that world. Yeah, they are really fun, and we mentioned before, surprised us to find out that they were not big hits. hits.
Yeah.
Like, it's had much more of a cultural impact than a financial impact. So the fact that this has come about 25 years later is crazy that this has happened, and amazing. Like, good on Keanu Reeves, who's a giant star.
He seems actually quite sound for a big rich cunt.
Yeah.
I think that's what I'll be like when I'm rich. I'll be like a really ugly version of Keanu Reeves. Like, I'll be like the Keanu Reeves that you don't masturbate to.
The one that took the red pill?
No, I look more like the one that took the red meat. But you know what I mean? Like, they'd be like, he seems like really sound, but I wouldn't fuck him. Whereas everyone's like, oh my god, can you believe Keanu Reeves is sound, and also, can I touch him? Because he's a beautiful looking man. So that would be the only difference, right?
Yeah. The only thing that sort of...
Oh, are you going to say something bogus here?
Yeah, it's just a sad thing that hangs over it, is that obviously George Carlin's not around anymore.
Lazy bastards.
But yeah, just to not have him in this third film, that's a little bit sad. It's just a little bit of a cloud.
Can't really do anything about it. Unless you're thinking, hold on, get a shovel, get the finest puppeteers from the Muppets, we bring them back. But yeah, the trailer made me laugh.
Yeah.
And made me go, this looks fucking cool. Job done. To me, it's got the look of Trainspotting 2 about it. Except as a wacky comedy.
Right, yeah.
Everyone knows you can't just do the same thing, so we're going to do something different. And that will possibly annoy some people, but I'm all for it.
It certainly seems like it's been made with love, which is great. But I really hope that it succeeds for the wider possibility of other projects. We can go back now, like 10, 20 years on from that thing that didn't get a sequel then, and do one now.
Well, these films have now built up a cult audience, and it's like a band, you know, like the Velvet Underground when they were from the 90s played bigger venues than they ever did when they were the Velvet Underground, you know. Pixies could play fucking, you know, arenas now. They weren't playing arenas when they were, you know, the best band in the world. The only thing is, of course, what you could also get is a Blade Runner 2 situation where expensive sequel to cult film that never made any money also doesn't make any money. Now, they took the gamble on Blade Runner 2 and it did not make any money. But we got a really cool fucking film out of it.
And it was obviously like significant enough that it allowed Denis Villeneuve to then get the Dune sequel.
Yeah, which again, brilliant. They've made another Dune film, which will also not be a fucking success. And this fucking director just keeps getting money to make cool fucking films of stuff that we all want to see as nerds, and be like, yeah, I'm going to need 250 million for this, and they're like, okay. I'm like, what the hell? This guy's like this Darren Brown-esque fucking magic. Like, he's just scamming them, and God bless him, because I want to see a big budget Dune movie. You know, let him keep ripping off the fucking studios. We'll probably get a fucking $500 million Buckaroo Banzai sequel from him, you know.
Oh man, we can but hope.
We can, but Bill and Ted, not bogus. Excellent.
I'm excited. I can't wait to face the music.
Excellent.
Station.
Alright, cool. Recommendations?
Yeah.
Alan, what have you been watching?
Well, to tie back into like the 80s nostalgia thing, I really enjoyed a movie called Summer of 84. I didn't think I was going to like it as much as I ended up liking it, because I thought it was just going to be more sort of Stranger Things style 80s nostalgia, but Summer of 84 is a really clever little kind of serial killer horror movie.
Alright, okay.
Kind of really smart thriller.
The Summer of 84?
Yeah.
That's not when you got your first real six string?
No. But the thing that I found myself watching more than anything else is Baywatch.
I mean, sure, Alan. I mean, I guess the listener wants to hear what you've been jerking off to. Sure. So we're talking season 1, Erika Eleniak, or was that her name?
Erika Eleniak, I had such a crush on her back in the day.
She jumps out the cake in Under Siege.
Yep. So, you know, that was a big movie for me. I liked it at the end of the first season when one of the main cast got eaten by a shark. But in terms of nostalgia,
So do you think the show then was sort of, how can I put this? Like, it was standing in the darkness, afraid to go into the light?
Yeah. But I was told not to worry, that it would be all right.
Well, you know, I'll be there. I'll be there. I'll be there. I'll tell you one thing, right? Baywatch is obviously great because it's got boobs in it, and boobs are amazing, right? I can't say that boobs aren't amazing.
Okay.
But that theme tune is an absolute all-timer. Some people stand in the darkness.
It's great, yeah.
Afraid to step into the light. Absolutely brilliant. One of the guys from Survivor, I believe.
Yeah.
Ironically died recently, so, poorly named.
Yeah, great theme tune. There's a certain era of theme tunes that are just fucking amazing, like Cheers.
Yeah. I think the issue is that you now don't really have theme tunes that are, like, they've got lyrics and shit. You don't really, nobody's watching Game of Thrones and it's like, the Starks are here, who's gonna sit on that big chair? It's not gonna work.
Especially, like, the fact that, most streaming platforms, you can skip the intro now as well.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't watched the intro for any show for years, so yeah, absolutely. Listen, Alan, I feel I've now got to tell you what I've been checking off to.
Okay.
If we're sharing.
Fair's fair.
Yeah, I just want to thank you for keeping your blinds open this week. It's been great. You're a real gent, real mensch.
What about yourself?
So, been watching a lot of TV, catching up on things that I've sort of saved because I've heard they're good and not really had time to watch.
Mm-hmm.
I watched The Deuce, all 3 seasons of The Deuce.
Right.
David Simon's show from The Wire about the kind of seedy New York prostitution, porn, mafia era. And bits of it were fucking great. Like season 2 particularly. But all of it was really good and really sad, but also not talking down about people in their lives. And that. It was like a really good show, except that it's got a guy, James Franco, in it. And it's based on a guy they've met, and this guy had a twin brother. So they also have James Franco playing his twin brother, which is incredibly off-putting. They do it really well. It's still just kind of cheesy and dumb.
It's not like Ewan McGregor in Fargo season 3.
Yeah, it's really weird because like the fact that he's got a twin doesn't really play into anything. Like they didn't need to. Like there's a bit at the start where he gets mistaken for his brother, right? And that kind of is his entry into the world. And that's it. Like they obviously thought, oh, that's how he gets kind of caught up in this. But then for the rest of the 3 seasons, we have this dumb fucking thing. But Franco's actually really good at doing it, but it just seemed like unnecessary hard work for everyone.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed The Deuce, and that would be the show I'd be raving about the most if it was in fact. Everyone's been telling me to watch Succession, saying it's right up my street, and everybody was fucking right. Succession is unbelievably good. The end of that first season, all the way through season 2, is like top tier stuff for me. It's outstanding. It's so dark. Like some people are like, I don't know if I can get into it. Everybody's so awful. That's why it's great. And like, as somebody who wants to be an awful rich person, it's really more like a kind of tick off list for me for things to do.
It's aspirational for you.
Yeah, definitely. It's like my Sex in the City. But yeah, Succession, it's on Sky On Demand at the moment. Batter through it. You don't have to pay extra for it if you've got Sky. It's great. I can't stress this enough. Get on Succession. Film-wise, I've watched 2 films that you've said are good, but for twice you were kind of right. Watched Happy Death Day.
Yeah.
That was quite good fun.
It's a good, fun little movie.
I enjoyed that. And then the second of the 2 films that you recommended, I watched the Elizabeth Moss starring The Invisible Man that just came out recently, and that was great. Really well done. Lee Whannell, the guy that did Saw, which the first Saw films are a fucking very good film, I think. He directs the shit out of this film. It is a legit really good movie. When you think that sort of thing could be schlocky kind of bullshit and still be quite fun, they do it a completely different way.
Yeah. If you compare it to how Tom Cruise took The Mummy, which is another like a Universal property, and they've really gone like another direction with it instead of just trying to like amp up the set pieces and scares.
It almost certainly will have been a better film than they would have done if they'd gone that dark universe monsters thing. So, dear listener, me and Alan have been talking. We are going to, on an Invisible Man tip, that film's too good for us to really talk about because it's just really well done and isn't batshit insane. But is there some sort of an Invisible Man film that is batshit insane, Alan, that we could talk about for our next franchise episode?
A previous alum of this show, Paul Verhoeven, has had his hands on an Invisible Man property before, and his approach was just, let's say, very different to Lee Whannell's when he made Hollow Man 20 years ago this year.
Damn right. I haven't seen this probably for 20 years. I'm really looking forward to it because I remember it being lots of dumb fun. So we'll find out. We'll get into it.
We'll see.
That's if you're wanting to watch along with us. Our next episode is going to be on Paul Verhoeven's Kevin Bacon, another alumni of our podcast.
For completists, I'm aware that Christian Slater appears in Hollow Man 2, but we will not be covering it here. There's so much to parse out of the Kevin Bacon classic that we're just going to focus on that one film for the moment.
Yeah, am also not going to watch the film I've just found out existed. Fuck that. But yeah, join us on the next episode. Thanks. We've been Diminished Returns. If I'm rich, I can't stress this enough. I want to leave you all behind. Right? If you want to see me happy, send us money. If you hate this podcast so much, but for some reason somebody in your house will keep playing it, send me money. I will stop doing podcasts if I'm rich. I'll be on a yacht in international waters doing horrific things.
Recreating the final moments of Natalie Wood.
Yeah, exactly. Hunting poor through cityscapes. I'll have it, the most dangerous game. I'm just saying, whatever way you look at it, give me some money.